if religion is powerful as to, being able to control the mind of the people, then if you can use the religion to tame the behavior of people, to control people and to regulate them against corruption.
You cannot divide religion into two. You become religious, you become so religious when you are in the mosque, and when you go back to the office, you become something else.
Hello and welcome to Transparency Files, ICPC's weekly television program. I am your host, Murna Barnabas Atiai. Week after week, we discuss how corruption remains one of the greatest threats to our national development. It affects every sector of society, touching lives in ways both visible and invisible. The good news is we all have a role to play in fighting it. Just as everyone belongs to a family, most Nigerians also identify with a religion. This makes religious institutions vital stakeholders in the anti-corruption crusade. Today, we focus on the powerful role religion can play in promoting transparency and integrity. How can messages about honesty, speaking up and taking a stand against corruption be strengthened through faith-based teachings? Let's find out. Also on the program, updates from our state offices, a feature on the opportunity cost of corruption, and more.
Corruption not in my country.
Madam, madam, welcome. Okay, madam, no worry. When you deliver the balance, we'll give you the goods.
No problem, no problem. All right, so now well done.
Thank you.
Hey, Oga, I still say she don't bring money. Maybe we use this one for him now.
She wants mahogany, not white wood.
Oga, our work now to join wood together, deliver whatever to customer. Put the remaining profit for pocket.
This is corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now. Corruption not in my country.
You're still watching Transparency Files. The ICPC recognizes that corruption is not only a legal or political problem, it is also a moral failing. Religious teaches core values like honesty, justice, integrity, and accountability. That is why the Commission has developed educational materials and engaged in campaigns that actively involve religious organizations in the fight against corruption. To speak more on this, we hear from Deputy Director of the Public Enlightenment and Education Department, Mr. Kingsley Obi.
The ICPC realizing the spiritual dimension with respect to the fight against corruption, because already know that corruption is a monster. So what the first step that the commission took was dates back to the days of the second substantive chairman of the commission, late retired Justice Emmanuel Olayinka Ayola, who held a program at the National Christian Center. That dates back around 2006-2007, where he brought in pastors, bishops, to discuss and pray with respect to the fight against corruption. After that, the concept of documentation, in line with biblical principles, started. That's when ICPC now produced pamphlets that had to do with, they call Bible and the Bible and corruption. So those things were now put there, some of the things drawing from the Bible, the things. Because from the Bible point of view, corruption is sin. Simple. So from there, they now brought up this educational material that we are circulating, and then which is helping the church to fight corruption from the angle of the church. Like I said, spiritual dimension. So they did both for the Bible and for the Quran. They did both simultaneously. So while the Christians are doing it in the church, the Muslims are doing it at the mosque. So it is running simultaneously. So they engage religious leaders, they engage religious leaders both on the Muslim side and the Christian side. And of course, the commission went ahead to have this religious leaders forum program, which they are using to engage with religious leaders, either Muslim or Christian. So these two, ICP decided to capture them, realizing the spiritual dimension with respect to the fight against corruption. It has given the commission opportunity to reach out to the masses more than they would have done if they were holding programs maybe at a hotel or whatever. So going to these churches, going to these mosques, will help them. They may first of all meet the pastors. When the pastor is on the pulpit talking about against corruption, the imam is on their pulpit talking against corruption. It helps to spread the message. Remember that some of these churches are mosques. There are many mosques. There are many churches. So it's the shortest and fastest way of disseminating information, with respect to the fight against corruption. Because from there they go to their branches, they keep on moving. They go to their mosque, bigger mosque, smaller mosque. They just keep on moving. So it is a very good concept from the commission to use the church, religious bodies, because we are largely religious in Nigeria. So when you key into religion, you're able to get a good chunk of the society.
ICPC believes that faith-based organizations, churches, mosques, and religious groups can be powerful allies in this campaign by using their platforms to preach against corruption and promote ethical values. They can influence millions of Nigerians. Transparency Files spoke with some religious leaders about their role in this mission. Here's what they had to say.
Religion is a set of principles that is held onto by people, and religion is very powerful. It controls the mind of the people, the behavior of the people. So, and whatever controls the mind of the people is very powerful. Corruption, all corruption cases stem from the mind, comes from the mind. So if religion is powerful as to, being able to control the mind of the people, then if you can use your religion to tame the behavior of people, to control people and to regulate them against corruption.
Due to the effects of corruption, Islam as a religion takes some measures to tackle the effect of corruption. Notable among these measures are as follows. 1. Islam encourages teaching religious ethics, rights, and good morals. Under this, a lot of attention is given to good conduct and character, just as it also gives serious attention to religious rights. Because good conduct and moral shapes the behavior of human beings. It also molds their conduct. It also serves as immunity from vices and other ungodly or all forms of ungodly activities that may lead to corruption.
Does religion play a key role in combating corruption? Yes, it does play, because the people who sit in those places of authority are religious people, either in any form of going to church or mosques or in any form. So those people are religious people, and they do come to places of fellowship and places of worship. And so do they play a key role? Does religion therefore play a key role in combating corruption? Yes, it does.
Religion has a very big role to play in fighting corruption, because if you look at corruption from all its dimensions, be it moral corruption, political corruption, or economic corruption, you find that all these are against the tenet of religion, because religion is all about righteousness. It's all about doing the right thing. And a corrupt person is not doing the right thing. He must be, first of all, morally corrupt before he becomes economically corrupt. So therefore, religion is all against corruption, whatever type of corruption you may mention.
Indeed, most religions emphasize truth, fairness, and responsibility. Religious leaders, through their influence, can help shape a culture of integrity in our communities. Some of them shared the practical steps they are taking to ensure transparency and accountability within their places of worship. Let's take a listen.
We espouse and preach to our members. We enjoin what is right, and we forbid what is evil. In under chapter 17 of the Holy Quran, Allah commands all Muslims to have faith in Him with passion, to be kind to parents, to uphold the ties of a kinship, to be honest in weight and measure, and to handle the property of orphans properly, and to afford extravagance, spending money in manner of spendthrift. All these responsibilities and virtues are mentioned in this chapter 17. These virtues and values serve as a guideline for the Muslim leader, and to serve as a guideline for a Muslim leader on how they could promote, aid, and support fighting corruption.
What are the various reasons why people are corrupt? One is because we magnify materialism. And if you magnify that, it therefore means people will want to go all the length to want to get things, including being corrupt. And so we can use our platform to say that being materialistic is not a vehicle that will take you to heaven. If we try to play down on materialism, then people will calm down and understand that you don't have to be corrupt, because the things that you are looking for that corruption will bring, such as materials, won't take you anywhere. That's one. So keep preaching about it. That's a major one, because as preachers, the best we can do is to use our vehicle, our platform, to speak the truth and not about the truth, to preach it, and to mentor. Number 3 is to mentor people, to begin to talk to them about how they should be hardworking, how to, as much as possible, in this area of Gen Zs and all that, some of them are in universities, where we have corruption. I didn't talk about corruption in the education system, where a lecturer is asking that you buy handout. Without buying the handout, you are going to fail, or without attending here and there. To make sure we are mentoring them and finding out how they're doing and supporting them with advice. Those are the ways I think we can use our platforms to speak against corruption. 1, preaching it; 2, mentoring them.
I always preach against corruption, always trying to tell people that you can't be godly while you are not trustworthy. You cannot be godly while you are looting properties that are not your belonging. So I normally tell people that you cannot divide religion into 2. You become religious. You become so religious when you are in the mosque, and when you go back to the office, you become something else.
The whole teaching in Christianity is all about love, it's all about integrity, transparency, and godliness. So the church is a very powerful platform where the man of God will, use to disseminate sermons and messages of love, of integrity, of righteousness, of godliness. And when these things are found in the life of anybody, that person naturally will not engage in corrupt practices.
You're watching Transparency Files. Stay tuned as we now bring you updates from some of ICPC state offices. Ono Olapo Abodunde is our guide.
A report from Osun State reveals that the resident anti-corruption commissioner, Prince Yusuf Olatunji, has called on intending pilgrims to serve as ambassadors of integrity and discipline while on pilgrimage. The call was made at the recently organized sensitization exercise held at Osun State Government Secretariat, Central Mosque, Oshogbo. He further emphasized the need for pilgrims to uphold high moral standards and avoid acts of misconduct. Coming from Sokoto State, ICPC has inducted the newly elected executives of the Student Anti-Corruption Vanguard at Federal University, Benin Kebbi. The resident anti-corruption commissioner, Mr. Shintema Benga, represented by Assistant Superintendent Abdullahi Ibrahim Aliu, enlightened the students on the consequences of corruption in the education sector and the vital role of the Student Anti-Corruption Vanguard in promoting integrity and transparency on campus. From Lagos State comes a report that the resident anti-corruption commissioner, Mr. Alexandra Chukura, led a team to pay a courtesy visit to the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency headquarters to forge a strategic alliance to improve transparency and stamp out corruption in Nigeria's maritime industry. He stressed that the collaboration between regulatory and anti-corruption institutions is key to safeguarding public trust and ensuring efficient service delivery. The delegation was received by the Director General of NEMASA, Dr. Dayo Muberiola, who stated that the agency is open to any initiative that enhances transparency and accountability. And from Ondo State, the resident anti-corruption commissioner, Mr. Tiku Andrew Menge, led a team to pay a courtesy visit to the Ekiti State Ministry of Education to form an alliance to combat corruption in academic systems. The delegation was received by the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Michael Omolayo, who expressed readiness of the ministry to work with the commission.
Welcome back. In this segment, we'll look at the opportunity cost of corruption through a recent case involving Mr. Netifo Olani Alaba, a suspended executive director of the Rural Electrification Agency, and Mr. Hassan Arivi Sadiq, managing director of Hasino Group Limited. They were arraigned for their alleged roles in a 15 million naira contract fraud, an offense involving favoritism and abuse of office. ICPC's legal counsel, Ngozi Onwuka, brings us the details and unravels the real cost of corruption to society.
The case is actually a case of conspiracy to commit fraud and the actual and gratification where the former executive director of the Rural Electrification Agency, that's the first defendant in this case, conspired with the second defendant and executed an MOU requiring the first defendant to facilitate the award of contracts to the second defendant. And it was agreed between the two of them that the second defendant would pay 10 million naira for each of those contracts from either the Rural Electrification Agency or other government organizations. So in this case, the second defendant actually paid a total sum of 15 million naira, 10 million naira in Nigerian currency, and then 5 million naira in dollar equivalent to the first defendant. But unfortunately, the first defendant couldn't actually facilitate the award of those contracts to the second defendant. Thereupon, the second defendant requested his money back, and he was paid actually the 15 million naira, but he insisted that he was entitled to 14 million naira interest on the money already paid. Well, the first defendant paid 8.5 million out of the 14 million naira requested. But when he couldn't pay beyond that, the second defendant reported to the ICPC, and then investigations followed, and subsequently the matter went to court. I mean, you can only imagine what improvement that money would have done in the lives of the rural dwellers if that kind of money was actually channeled to providing them with electricity. I mean, you and I can only imagine what benefit that would have been to the rural dwellers. Well, the bad for me, actually looking at this case, I'm actually looking at the second defendant as somebody who wants to claim that he is a saint, right? By reporting something he perceived as corruption when he himself was actually corrupt as well. You know, in law, we have that saying that they are both impari delicto. They are both guilty. So he shouldn't be seen, he shouldn't see himself as the saint because he was as rotten as the other one. And in law, there's this Latin maxim that says, ex topi causa non oritur axiu. When you are equally guilty, you cannot expect the law to shield you. You know, by when you bring this action, you cannot expect to use the law to punish the other person when you are both equally guilty. So that's the bad. Corruption is bad regardless of, how you look at it. Whether, if you have your hand in the cookie jar, don't think that you can actually exculpate yourself by saying it is this person who has his hand in there, if your hand is there as well.
The issue of corruption is widespread. ICPC is deploying every means to get rid of corruption from both public and private lives of Nigerians. Join ICPC every Friday at 6:30 p.m. on NTA Network and NTA International as you watch Transparency Files. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
To win the war against corruption, legal action and moral leadership must go hand in hand. While the ICPC enforces accountability, religious bodies can guide the conscience of the nation. Let's all commit to building a better, more transparent Nigeria. The fight against corruption begins with you and me. Thank you for watching this edition of Transparency Files. See you again next week, same time, same station, Friday 6:30 p.m. on NTA Network and NTA International. My name is Murna Barnabas Atiai. Bye for now.